What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Greetings to you wherever you're watching and listening from, and a special nod to my brothers and sisters on the mother continent. You know, Africa is such a mess, and particularly now, the DRC is a historical catastrophe. But I don't blame my brothers and sisters in the DRC or anywhere on the continent. The general population has done their best based on the information they have over the generations and decades to select their leaders. But it's the leaders who have been the deceptive demons. I don't even know how they play their game to get elected with false promises, and the moment they are elected, they immediately turn and tongue kiss their white masters and then kneel before them on their knees with a bowed head and let them know that they will do their bidding for them. It makes me sick. Part of my stress in life daily and my constant prayer daily to the divine, please, please let us have one Africa. Please let us have one Africa. Please frustrate the forces of evil and exterminate them from the earth so that our people can finally rise and be in peace and unity. Please. You know, we've been dealing with the genocide in Gaza, but there's an ongoing genocide forever in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I have been aware and passionate and disgusted and frustrated by the DRC for many, many years. Many, many years. And like many of us who don't live on the continent, we don't understand fully how easily it is for the white man to come in and divide our people and steal the precious resources out of the Congo and across Africa, quite frankly, but specifically speaking about Congo now. And my statement is rhetorical because we know how they do it. We know how they do it. But that's why you need strong leadership, like what we see in Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso. Strong leadership, defiant and determined, but most of all, dedicated and loyal to the people of their country. That they are first, that they stand up to this white devil and say, not right here. Anything you throw at us, we don't accept it. And get out. We will be self-determined. We will be self-sufficient. We will stand ourselves up and strengthen our backs. We realize that we have everything that we need, and at the same time we have everything that you want and need. So we are the ones with the leverage. So you get on your knees and beg to us, or you will not have anything that we possess. That's what we need across Africa. That's what we need. Julius Malema understands this. Even as he pursued the growth of the EFF in South Africa and brought it to where it is now, and but for white interference, the EFF should have been in power after the last election. They should have been the majority party. Because I watched that process very closely all the while leading up to it. And I saw the enthusiasm and the determination in our people in South Africa. And it is only a white hand that could have frustrated that victory. I still don't understand how black African people in South Africa would allow any one white to hold any position of power and lawmaking in their country. That's the same to me as if the stinking Zionists in Israel were to allow a German Nazi to be a part of their parliament and their government. They would never allow that. So why is it that South Africans would allow the enemy of their people and all our people across the diaspora, even one of them, to hold any power in the country at all? They shouldn't even have businesses. They shouldn't be allowed to own homes or buy land. The only thing they should be able to do, if anything, is to maybe be a tourist, spend their money, and go back to wherever the hell they come from. But I wanted to contrast in this video the difference in leadership, the difference in character and humanity. You have William Ruto in Kenya, who needs to shut up and sit down and leave office. And then you have Julius Malema. Wow. Two different men, two different characters, two different set of principles and loyalties. One is a puppet for this white devil, and the other one is dedicated to his people and the cause of African people across the diaspora. Let's hear a little bit from both of them.
By the imperialist forces in the West, because they benefit out of the instability of DRC and Africa in particular. If there is any country that was messed up right from the beginning, was DRC. They've been destabilizing that country for many years because they want those minerals in the DRC. They even created illegal landing strips to land in DRC, to steal directly from DRC and leave. There's nothing revolutionary about M23. Yes, we understand the dynamics of those who are found in that region and the leadership of DRC ill-treating them. But what is important is we cannot allow black-on-black violence. In whose interest is that? Why do you take up arms to kill other fellow Africans? So we should first stabilize DRC and support the SADC initiatives and support the UN intervention, because the stability of DRC means the stability of SADC, and the stability of SADC means the stability of our continent. So we should be concerned that there are problems in the DRC, and before they come to us, they have to be stopped in DRC. You don't wait for them to come to you for you to realize we have a problem. If they can do it in DRC, that will become a practice. And the African agenda is such that we have to go and help the people of DRC. But we must not do that to our own detriment. We have to deploy the best capacity we have. And if we don't have, let's confess we don't have it and withdraw. We may have the interest to defend, but we may not have the capacity. But children are going to die. Somebody's children are going to die, not only these ones. If you had shot 9 American soldiers with that madness which is in the presidents of America now, they would have flattened you the following day. No one would have played jokes. People are playing jokes with the lives of our brothers, and we must not allow that. If they can't give them equipment, let them come back.
Of course, Julius Malema is right. And you see, he mentioned exactly what the root cause of it all is. They want those minerals. And for anyone under the sound of my voice who doesn't know, Congo is the richest patch of earth on this planet. Period. All of the countries of Africa are rich with resources and minerals. But anytime you have more than one of anything, there's always a standout. And in this case, it's the Congo. It is the richest place on this planet. And yet, when we see images from Congo, we see our people living in dilapidated poverty and not what reflects what is under their feet. But what every African across the diaspora needs to understand is just one of the minerals that comes out of the Democratic Republic of Congo, known as coltan, is the reason why anyone has a television, a computer monitor, a tablet, an earbud, a cell phone, a keypad, a mouse, a charger, a stereo in your car, the dashboard of your car. You could just keep on going. Nobody is manufacturing any of these things without this mineral. You must have it. Why is the cell phone and everything else that I just named, why isn't it synonymous with Africa? Why isn't it being manufactured in Africa, these items? Why? Most cell phones come out of China. And the reason is that we don't have leaders like we have in Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso. We don't have it. And now it looks like also Chad and Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. And I hear Togo may be looking at some things. I don't trust Nigeria because Tinubu needs to be thrown into traffic. He is a criminal. He is a CIA asset. That's been confirmed. When one of our brothers was trying to get the records on him, they were in no uncertain terms answered by the CIA that he was one of theirs. He's also a bastard. There he was sucking up to the French president and grinning after what they had tried to do to his brothers in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. I do not trust him any farther than I can spit at him. But I digress. And you hear Julius Malema saying that we have to fight to protect the Congo. Maybe we have the capacity and maybe we don't. But we can't see it as just their problem. Because if they succeed there, they'll succeed here as well. And anywhere else, quite frankly. He is in South Africa. But one of the things I love about him is that he speaks continentally and diasporically. He doesn't just focus on what's happening in South Africa. He speaks and is very passionate about everything that's happening across the continent because he desires one united Africa. He has always been consistent with that. Always. He also has the right understanding of white people. He understands their nature and their character. He understands that. I've been watching him for many years now. In fact, the first time that I became aware of him, I said, I think I have found my carbon copy in Africa. Because I'm always complaining that I don't hear my voice. And when I heard him, I heard my voice. I heard my voice. Now contrast that to this weak bastard.
The escalating conflict and deteriorating situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo are a grave concern to the people and governments of East Africa. Noting the worsening humanitarian crisis exacerbated by ongoing military actions, including the closure of airspace in Goma, I call for the immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities. I emphasize the obligation of all parties to facilitate humanitarian access to affected populations and urge both sides to pursue peaceful means to resolving this tragic conflict. These alarming developments, coupled with rising diplomatic tensions in the region, underscore the urgent need for peaceful resolution to a conflict that continues to inflict untold suffering on the people, particularly women and children. As the current chair of the East African Community, Kenya is aware of the region's critical responsibility in de-escalating violence and facilitating dialogue between the parties involved. We confirm and firmly believe that a sustainable solution can only be achieved through engagement, constructive dialogue, and a renewed commitment to peace. I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, both of whom I have had the occasion to speak to this evening, to heed the call for peace from the people of our region and the international community. I call on them to dedicate all effort towards achieving peace in Eastern DRC and restoring good neighborliness, an essential principle underpinning regional peace and collective responsibility. Consequently, and having consulted with the heads of state of our region, we will be convening an extraordinary East African Community Summit within the next 48 hours to facilitate and to deliberate on this crisis and chart a way forward. This is in line with the East African Community Summit's decision of November 2024, which called for constructive engagement to address this conflict. I thank both President Tshisekedi and President Kagame for their confirmed participation in this summit. Additionally, the Africa Union must not remain passive in the face of this escalating crisis. The East African community stands ready to forge a stronger collaboration with the African Union and SADC, as well as the international community in encouraging the warring parties to prioritize engagement.
You see the difference in tone? At least twice in there, he mentions the international community. Again, he's one of these butt boys that feels like he's got to have white people involved. That's what they mean. When any of these African leaders, when they say the international community or Africa is open for business or what's the other one that makes me sick? Investors, all that, they just talking to white people. There's no need to talk about the international community. This is an African, you're the one being attacked by white people. They're the ones causing the chaos in your damn country. So why don't you talk about how you come together, you bring other African nations together to exterminate these people off your damn continent, certainly out of Congo. And I've noticed a trend with him since he's come into office. He is the president of Kenya, but they called him to have him send troops to Haiti, which America has been destabilizing for many, many generations, because they don't want, just like Africa, they don't want Haiti to be free and standing on its own and self-determining and self-sufficient, because they are the devil. And it's almost like they're making him kind of like the de facto president of a continent or something. Like, he and Tinubu are the most disgusting two human beings that breathe and exist on the African continent, in my view. And thus far. There's some others that have me sick too, but currently those two I loathe. And I pray for nothing but bad and horrible things to happen to them. Horrible things. Horrible. He's calling on the parties to work together on both sides. What both sides? What both sides is he talking about, everybody? Africans are not, wherever we exist in the diaspora, African people are inherently not inclined to violence. It's not our way. And when we do, especially if it's to one another, you heard Julius Malema saying that we can't have black on black violence. We can't have that. We cannot have that. And so, but when it is, it's usually provoked by this white demon. But we never take that same violence and exact that upon the white enemy of our people. Because they do everything with violence. Everything. If they can't do it themselves, they get somebody else to do it for them. But that's always their default and first go-to. But they always want the rest of humanity to be peaceful. We got to be over that. You don't take peace to a gunfight. You don't do that. You take every weapon you can find. But there he is. That was a weak speech. It didn't. There was no ultimatum. There was no or else. You know, there was no definitive, determinative action, intent of action, nothing. And I don't want to hear about any more meetings from any African leaders. That's all they do is meet. That's all. It's always a meeting. That's all they do. And then nothing comes out of it. even ECOWAS, they literally call themselves the Economic Community of West African States. The Economic Community, commune, that means together, community of West African states. Then why is there still borders all across fucking West Africa then? Why isn't there one West African visa, even if you're not smart enough to just open up a continental visa and passport? Just that alone, ECOWAS, why didn't you remove all the borders that separate West African states? Either you're united or you're not. And if it's about economics, then why aren't you doing what we see our brothers doing in Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso? Why aren't you building industry and manufacturing and processing your own damn raw materials and adding value and then selling that shit across the continent and around the world? The answer is because they are fake bitches, and they were ready to attack our brothers in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso at the phone call of a white devil, because they dared to take power and start doing what's right for their people. So these slave-ass Negroes are ready to fight their own brother on their own continent for some white devil somewhere across the fucking Atlantic. Think about that. Think about that. If that doesn't make you homicidal, nothing will. And beware of African leaders that don't come with an African name. William? What's that? William. It loses it for me. I can't. I immediately don't take you serious. I don't. Who's your parents? How'd you get the name William? Where'd that come from? What is that? What is that? William. That's never set right with me. It never has. Wow. And speaking of Kenya, when I see videos from Kenya and I see major projects that are going on, and not just in Kenya, but anywhere in Africa, but speaking of Kenya now, when I see projects and things like that, I always wonder, I can't even be happy for it. When I hear they're getting some new development or some new rail system or they're getting something, and I can't be happy, because I immediately know they don't own it. They don't own it. They don't own it. You dig behind the scenes and it's some non-African. We need stuff that's built, owned, and operated and controlled by nothing but fucking black people, and that's it. No Chinese, definitely no white people, no Arabs, nobody else. Like, nobody. Africa is for Africans. Let us understand that and defend that with our lives. And hold that as a firm principle. You don't just come to Africa and you're going to run something. No. When they talk about investors, that means you can come in and you can have some shit and you get most of the profit if we get anything. I love my grandfather, Museveni. He tells the story in Uganda, right? He's in Uganda. And he talks about how some people came into his office one day, and they were saying that there was think it was oil. And they wanted to do a deal to get this, to get this out of the country. And he said no, because it occurs to me that there's people that live here. So if you want to build a refinery here, you understand, then we can talk. Like, you're not going to just take our materials and go someplace else. Well, we got people here. And he understands that those jobs need to go to the people of his country, and it needs to be run by the people of his country and all of that. That's what needs to happen. And if I was doing any deal, I'm not mad at that. Like, you come in, you fund to build. So let's say you want gold out of my country. If I haven't built the refinery on my own, you're going to build it for me for free at your cost. That would be part of the deal. Because remember, I have what you want. So I hold the leverage. I hold the leverage. So we'll do what I say. You will build the refinery. All the jobs, you'll fund it, but all the jobs will go to the people of my country, not any of your people at all. You're just going to fund it and pay them. And you'll pay them what I say you will pay them. And you will build it. And when the refinery is up and running, then you will get a percentage of the gold. But you won't get all of it, and you won't get the lion's share. And if they don't like it, then they can just kick rocks. But they're going to take the deal, even if they have to take it begrudgingly. Because if they don't, they know somebody else will. Because at the end of the day, if I've got oxygen and you need it, I can name my own price. You don't have any oxygen. So I have the oxygen, I have the leverage. So we're going to do it my way. And we should definitely do very stingy, unfair deals when it comes to doing business with the West. Out of revenge and what is right. But it also allows Africa to hold the high place at all times. This is what the Arabs do with their oil, and all they have is oil. But they're respected. And you see how they've grown their nations on one damn resource. Here, Africa has more minerals and resources than we can even name. It should have the prestige. Dubai should look like a pit stop. A pit stop. It should look pitiful. But everybody wants to go to Dubai. Everybody. We can have that. We just got to have the right leadership. And we have people that don't have a weak heart. And you should know this if you don't already. Everybody that I named when I was naming Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and all that, these are all Muslim men. All Muslims. Because Muslims have the heart of the lion. Because we fear only Allah, and that's it. The Christian is the one so quick to glad hand with their enemy. You don't know the devil when he's standing right in your damn face, Christians. I said it. And you know it's the truth. And globally, you are the ones holding us back, whether it's the United States, whether it's the Caribbean, whether it's Africa, it doesn't matter. It's Christian black people that hold African people back across the diaspora. Because Christianity takes the heart of the lion out of you, takes your sense of revenge and vengeance out of you. You don't need to forgive every damn body, and you need to love your damn enemy, because your creator does not love every damn body and doesn't forgive every damn body. That's why he created a little place called hell. That's why he created a place called hell. Because he don't like everybody. and least of all, those who associate partners or offspring with him. Reflect on that. I didn't want this to be long, but I needed to show that contrast. And shout out to the brother over on Make Africa Great, who actually had sourced this video, these two videos. So big shout out to that brother. But it's important that we understand what's happening in the Congo, everybody. But it's also important that we understand that whether it's the Congo or any place else on the continent, it won't matter what's going on or what this white devil is doing. What matters is, who do we have in leadership? What is their character? Are they easily used? I've never even seen William Ruto in a traditional outfit. That also, I don't like that. I like to see African leaders in their traditional clothing. But they try to present themselves as Western and shit. You know. You see there, anytime they go to the UN or any type of summit or something like that, here they all come in those ugly ass blue suits. That's it. And they're usually not even tailored. It just looks, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. But I'll see some of the Muslim leaders, of course, here they come in and they'll have their thobe or their jalabiya on and things like that, and their kufi caps and things. I love to see that. I love to see that. I love that. Yeah, and I had great hopes for William Ruto when he first came into office, but I've learned many years ago, don't get excited about an African leader. Let him get in there and start sniffing him first. Make sure you pay close attention to what he says and what he doesn't say. The brother Soko, I think it is, that's in Botswana. I think he's going to turn out to be a disappointment as well. He's educated in the West and things like that. He even went to Harvard. I don't like that. That means he's probably cozy and friendly with white people. That's not a good sign at all. You cannot be in love or be friendly with your enemy. You cannot be. That is the first sign of weakness and the first chink in your armor. You're immediately compromised. I don't care if it's war on the battlefield, if you're fighting an army, if you're fighting a gang, it doesn't matter. You have to have a healthy disdain, for your enemy, complete and total, and at all times. You're a soldier in an army and you're sent to go fight an enemy. You don't go over and start having tea and, with the enemy. You think when America went into Afghanistan or they went into Iraq, you think they took time to go and have a tie with any of the Iraqis? I doubt it. You see how the white devils, stinking Zionists in Israel, treat the Palestinians in Gaza. They teach their children from birth to hate those damn people. And they're doing it for all the wrong reasons and out of hate. We have every reason to do it, legitimately. Because we don't start nothing with nobody. But we got to know who our enemies are and start treating them as enemies. And teach our children, that's your enemy. So I don't want this to be long, everybody. I will talk more about this. But I needed to draw that contrast. I'll leave it here. Thank you all for listening and watching. If you've not joined our family here on Jedi Africa, I invite you to subscribe and join our family. Also, do give the video a thumbs up, everybody. We need to exercise Black unity and oneness. Do thumbs up the video. It helps with the algorithm so that we can, so more people know we're here. So I depend on you, and I trust you're going to do that. So I leave it here. This is the Jedi.